be this way.
Okay,
It'll be this way.
Yep.
And then when I get done, I'll give you the microphone and you say whatever you want.
Okay.
Yeah. So exciting.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh my gosh. Good evening and welcome to the City of Roswell Mayor and City Council meeting of Monday, September the 8th, 2025. I am Mayor Kurt Wilson, and I am pleased to introduce my colleagues and council members present. Councilmember Sarah Beeson, Councilmember Christine Hall, Mayor Pro Tem and Councilmember Lee Hills, Councilmember David Johnson, Councilmember William Mortland, Councilmember Alan Sells. I'll now turn our meeting over to our Chief Administrative Officer and City Administrator, Mr. Randy Knighton, to explain how the meeting's run. Mr. Knighton.
Thank you, Mayor Wilson, and good evening, everyone. In accordance with Chapter 3.70 of the City Code, the City Council shall hold regular public meetings, and the purpose of City Council meetings are for the public to participate and speak on agenda items which constitute formal decisions by the elected body. These items are listed on the published agenda, which can be accessed via the city website prior to the meeting. This is a public meeting, and some items do require a formal public hearing. An important component of City Council meetings is to hear directly from residents on the items listed on the agenda. Residents are at the top of the organizational chart for the City of Roswell. Therefore, public comments and questions are essential for Mayor and Council to consider as they contemplate each decision. If you wish to speak on an agenda item, please complete a comment card and hand it to Communications Staff Member Alyssa Brown. There's Miss Alyssa Brown there. And speakers will be called by the city clerk for each agenda item in the order cards are received. So if you want to speak on a particular agenda item, please go ahead and have that comment card filled out. We ask that everyone observe the principles of mutual respect and display the appropriate demeanor during the course of the meeting this evening, which should be and is reflective of this great community. With regard to the proceedings, the mayor is the presiding officer and will ensure the orderly exchange of questions, comments, and discussion leading to decisions by the elected body. We do ask that if anyone has an independent conversation that you would exit the rear doors to the vestibule area, and we ask that everyone would silence any electronic devices at this time. We encourage everyone in attendance and the viewing audience to visit the city website for information, news, events, and meetings. We also encourage you to participate in the various activities offered in the city of Roswell and visit roswell365.com for a calendar of events. There are a number of events upcoming in the city of Roswell which promote community, physical activity, and leisure as we all make Roswell the #1 family community in America. Mayor Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Knighton, as always. It's our great privilege tonight to have the youth director of the congregation, Beth Halal, youth director Dara Videdito, to join us tonight for our moment of silence and invocation. Welcome, Dara.
Thank you, Mayor Wilson, council members, and staff for the great honor of being here tonight and lifting you all up in prayer as you work diligently, aiming to manage well and improve our wonderful city of Roswell and to protect those who live and work here. I would like to share just 2 short verses from the scriptures that offer the bottom line of what God says is good and needed. Take a moment of silence to reflect on those words with gratitude and finally close with a brief prayer. From Micah 6, verses 8 and 9, He has told you, humanity, what is good and what the Lord is seeking from you, only to practice justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. The voice of the Lord calls to the city. It is wisdom to fear your name. Pay attention to the rod and to the one who appointed it. Let's have a moment of silence, please. Lord, I thank you for these words of wisdom and clarity. May these men and women who are leaders in our community be strengthened and empowered to put them into practice with each discussion and decision that takes place tonight. Thank you for Roswell, Georgia, and the freedom, the provision, and the beauty we have here. Would you please show favor on us and allow this meeting to be full of wisdom, discernment, righteousness, unity, respect, justice, mercy, and humility, even in the midst of challenging topics, varied perspectives, and difficult situations. My heart's desire is that you be pleased tonight and that this meeting results in blessings for the community of Roswell and those who make sacrifices to lead it. Ultimately, Lord, may your will be done in Roswell as it is in heaven. Amen.
Thank you, Youth Director Dara Videdito of the congregation Beth Hallel. That was beautiful. At this time, I would like to ask United States Air Force Staff Sergeant Monica Graham to please come forward and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible,
with
liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Staff Sergeant Graham. I'm going to ask you to stay right up there for the first item under the mayor's report, which is a proclamation for the esteemed veteran of Roswell Award, and ask the council to please come down and join us. You guys can sit down. I'm sorry. My apologies.
Yes.
Proclamation, Office of the Mayor, Staff Sergeant Monica Graham, esteemed veteran of Roswell. Whereas the city of Roswell proudly recognizes the bravery, dedication, and selfless service of our veterans who have worn the uniform of the United States Armed Forces in defense of freedom and democracy. Whereas Monica Graham began her distinguished career in 2001 at the age of 18, completing basic training at Lackland Air Force Base in Texas, and serving honorably as a transportation apprentice, and later a journeyman in the United States Air Force. Whereas Staff Sergeant Monica Graham served her nation with valor during two major conflicts, deploying to Pakistan in support of Operation Enduring Freedom from 2002 to 2003, and to Iraq in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom from 2004 to 2005. And whereas during her deployments, Staff Sergeant Graham's exemplary performance earned her the Air Force Achievement Medal, a recognition of her courage, skill, and devotion to duty while serving in austere and challenging environments. And whereas following her active duty service from 2001 to 2005, Monica Graham continued to serve her country with distinction in the Air National Guard from 2008 to 2013. Further demonstrating her enduring commitment to the security of our nation. And whereas after her military service, Monica Graham pursued higher education, earning a political science degree from the University of South Carolina and a Master of Public Administration from the University of Illinois at Chicago, and in 2025, obtained her real estate license, salesperson license, continuing a professional career marked by both public service and private sector achievement. And whereas a devoted member of the Roswell community, Monica Graham volunteers with the youth program at Fellowship Bible Church and supports her daughter's sports teams through Roswell Recreation, embodying the values of service, mentorship, and civic responsibility. And whereas the city of Roswell, its mayor, its council, and all its citizens are deeply grateful for the sacrifices and achievements of Monica Graham, whose life of service exemplifies the highest ideals of patriotism, leadership, and community dedication. Now, therefore, I, Kurt M. Wilson, Mayor of the City of Roswell, Georgia, do hereby name Staff Sergeant Monica Graham, an esteemed veteran of Roswell, and call upon all our citizens to recognize her outstanding service to our country and our community, and that there is no higher calling than those who serve the United States Armed Forces. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you all very much. Oh,
Got a few words for us, yeah.
oh, well, I just want to say thank you all for listening, and I have loved being a part of this community. So I see all the other men and women who serve, and I'm just very thankful for all you do for our community, what you all do for our community, and also everyone that comes and has their opinions heard is great, and we need that. So thank you all, and have a great rest of your week. Is it Monday?
Awesome.
I get in the picture now.
Ladies and gentlemen, Staff Sergeant Monica. They're always old. Guys, feel free to stay down. I gotta go back up.
You come out of meeting? Bye. Oh, you're being shy now.
Oh, I got two. I think I'm gonna do, yeah. Lee, go ahead and stay down. You guys are back. Hey, Lee.
Going up or down?
Stay down.
Stay down.
Stay down. All right, next on the mayor's report is a proclamation for the esteemed Roswell Public Safety Employee Award to Captain Jeff Mueller. Captain Mueller, please come forward for the reading the proclamation. Got it.
We got caught on the mic. No, we were rubbing on this. Too.
Proclamation, Office of the Mayor, Roswell Fire Company Officer Jeff Mueller. Whereas Captain Jeff Mueller has been selected by his peers as the 2024 Fire Company Officer of the Year in recognition of his leadership, unwavering professionalism, and commitment to excellence. And whereas Captain Jeff Mueller leads by example, consistently demonstrating integrity, accountability, and respect while inspiring those around him through action, mentorship, and a calm, confident presence under pressure. Whereas Captain Jeff Mueller exemplifies the core values of the City of Roswell Fire Department. Service. We serve others before ourselves. Teamwork. We are one team at Roswell Fire Department. Accountability. We are accountable for our actions and those of our team. Integrity. We earn trust through our actions. Respect. We embrace our differences and are considerate of others. And whereas through distinguished service, Captain Jeff Mueller has earned the respect of both peers and leadership, consistently advancing the mission of the department while cultivating a culture of trust, excellence, and support. And whereas Captain Jeff Mueller demonstrates exceptional leadership by promoting operational readiness through proactive planning, decisive action, and a commitment to maintaining the highest standards of performance and preparedness. And whereas Captain Jeff Mueller leads by example, fostering a culture of integrity, accountability, and respect that strengthens team cohesion and ensures mission success. Now, therefore, I, Curtin Wilson, Mayor of the City of Roswell, Georgia, do hereby recognize and honor Captain Jeff Mueller for his outstanding service and call upon all of our employees and citizens to recognize his outstanding service and unwavering commitment to the City of Roswell, Georgia. Congratulations, Jeff.
All right. Well, okay. Wow, that was a lot. Thank you. And always always a little awkward standing in front of everybody. Everybody's clapping at you, but thank you. But it's humbling to be nominated for a award like that. 'Cause it's peer award, so thank you guys. That's awesome. But for everybody on the outside, what you should know is that the fire department is a team sport. So I can't be successful without my boss, my chiefs empowering me and trusting me to do things. And more importantly, I can't be successful without firefighters who work tirelessly and they just make my job easy. So it really is a team sport for everybody on the outside. But thank you guys. So.
I'm asking the big boss to come up for a second. So, ladies and gentlemen, you see him talking. He does the beginning of the meeting, but I want him to come up here because he thinks he needs to make this announcement. So we haven't announced, I think, formally who your new fire chief is. And I'd like you to introduce him so he can come up and say a few words.
All right, thank you, Mayor and Council. It is with extreme pleasure and pride that we announce that Chief Abel Troche has been named and appointed the new fire chief for the city of Roswell.
Way to put me on the spot. I don't want to turn my back to everyone. You good? All right. Well, first of all, I'm also honored and humbled to serve such an amazing city and to be appointed to this position. We, as a department, as a united department, absolutely love this city and are honored to be able to serve this city. It is also an extreme honor that you could not even imagine to be recognized tonight with this man sitting right here next to me. We worked together very early on in our careers. What you said, Mayor, in the proclamation about his leadership, he leads by example. He's an amazing person, and it's just worth mentioning to be sharing this moment with him is important. To the amazing men and women that make up the Roswell Fire Department, I'm honored to serve you. You're the reason that we are the absolute best of the best, and it is my absolute honor to serve you and to work alongside you to make this community the safest community in the country. Thank you.
Get a picture with Jeff. And let's hold your thing here, right? Your proclamation. I think we got, yeah. Come on up. Step here for that. Fire Chief Abel Troche. Yes. Stay down here for this next one. Yeah, firefighters, you got to stay for this one. Just this one. Actually, this one's important. This one's important. Yeah, stay for one more. All right, next on the mayor's report is a reading of a proclamation for Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. We have some very special guests in attendance. Stephanie Bullock, the Mighty Millie Foundation board member, Timothy O'Brien, and Paul and Mandy Murachek, Millie's aunt and uncle. right? Oh, I left it upstairs. You guys keep shaking hands. Proclamation, Office of the Mayor, 2025 Childhood Cancer Awareness Month Proclamation. Whereas childhood cancer affects 47 new children each day nationwide, a battle which impacts entire communities, including parents, grandparents, siblings, friends, and neighbors. This disease impacts hundreds of children each year in the state of Georgia, including some of Roswell's youngest and most courageous citizens. And whereas CCAM, Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, is recognized in September with the goal to increase awareness of childhood cancer, the need for more funding and research, and to support those families in Roswell affected by childhood cancer in honor and in memory of their children. Whereas families who have a son or daughter who are fighting or have fought active childhood cancer treatment often experience long-term effects from the treatments that have helped them survive and need additional emotional and medical care long after the final treatments are completed. Whereas families who've had a son or a daughter pass away from childhood cancer often choose to honor their loved children by continuing to fight against childhood cancer, like community member Millie Murachak passed away at age 3.5 years old in 2021. Her family started the Mighty Millie Foundation, continuing funding research as well as spreading joy and awareness for families fighting childhood cancer. Whereas family support, research, and advancements in childhood cancer are often funded by private charities, run by individuals who have personally witnessed the long-term effects and outcomes of childhood cancer. Whereas many healthcare providers, charitable organizations, religious and social groups come together during the month of September to host events, raise funds for research, and offer families physical, emotional, spiritual, and financial support. These groups are committed in supporting families and children through and after the uniquely difficult treatment process. Now, therefore, I, Curtin Wilson, Mayor of the City of Roswell, Georgia, honor our youngest Roswell residents who have or are courageously battling pediatric cancer. And we proclaim September 2025 as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month and encourage each and every one of our residents to join us in supporting the activities and events throughout the month of September to honor families walking through this journey at every step of the way, to let them know that they are brave and that they are not alone. Thank you. And now we're going to hear from a much better speaker than me, Stephanie Bullock from the Mighty Millie Foundation.
Mayor. I'm just so grateful for this third opportunity to come alongside the city of Roswell and declare September as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Mayor Wilson did something similar in the heart of Roswell Park 2 years ago, and Councilman Moreland did downstairs in the lobby last year. So this is our third year feeling the warmth and support of the city of Roswell, and we're so, so grateful. We have children fighting in our community, and the treatments that they are receiving have been developed for adults decades ago. And so we need to raise money for research so these kids can have a better chance. The Mighty Millie Foundation was founded in 2021 by Nick Moracek because he and his wife Claire heard the words that there was nothing more that the doctors could do for their daughter, and that is absolutely unacceptable. And so as a foundation, we are here to just raise our voices and join in unity and community with people like you to do better for our kids. And tonight I have Millie's uncle with us. This is Paul Moracek, and I'd love for him to be able to share.
In addition to being Millie's uncle, I'm also a Roswell resident, which is fantastic, and it's really heartwarming to see our leadership, so touched and moved by really this terrible thing. But the Mighty Millie Foundation is trying to bring a little bit of joy into it, and Stephanie did a fantastic job kind of highlighting the foundation itself. But we all know people that are going through it or have gone through it. Just wrap your arms around them. Wrap your arms around not just the immediate family, but the extended family too. They're going through a lot of really hard times. And don't forget, obviously, we really celebrate the survivors. We really fight and cheer for the people that are going through treatments. Don't forget about the people who have also suffered loss, because sometimes events kind of feel like they leave those people out, which is by no fault of anybody's. But really want to say thank you. The Mighty Millie Foundation is doing great work at the state, local levels, and also nationally. My brother is going to Washington later this month to work with other like-minded organizations to try to impact policy change to get more research. And I'm just so proud of him and his wife and Stephanie and the whole organization. So thank you all.
Right. How can people get involved, and how can people get involved?
Asking, yes. Please check us out, mightymillie.org. All of our events are posted there. There's simple things like buying a t-shirt to just show your support for childhood cancer awareness. Like Paul said, wrap your arms around families and your community neighbors, classmates of your children who might be suffering through the treatments. We have a Mighty Millie Popsicle Project, and a lot of our funding goes towards sending popsicles to childhood cancer treatment centers all around the United States, so that when children are undergoing treatment and they've had a feeding tube or they can't handle food like you and I can, they enjoy a popsicle and it's a moment of joy. So we always appreciate donations.
Yeah, just the scale of this popsicle project is crazy. All right, it's in 150 hospitals nationwide. They've sent 200,000 popsicles, growing every day. It's really, not a mom and pop operation anymore. It's really cool. But yeah, so mightymillie.org, if you'd like to donate and contribute. And thank you so much if you consider that.
You just said something I think that it's easy to forget. When you have a family that has a child that's dying, it's so easy to ignore that because it's so scary. And you can't say to people enough, be brave enough, because it makes a difference to that family. It really does, and it's because it's scary. And so be brave enough. Be brave enough. Get out of your comfort zone and go to that family. Even if you don't know them well, it makes a difference, doesn't it? All right, God bless you guys.
Thank you.
And Mighty Millie, so where do people go?
mightymillie.org.
Thank you, guys. God bless you. Oh, yes, fine. say something. No, you're good. You're good. Got to give them their prop. Okay, for the really fun, now the fun stuff comes. It's oath of office time. Everybody says to me every week, I get emails, hey, I can't wait for the oath of offices to come up. It's the funnest part of the entire meeting. So I don't want to disappoint. We have really a fantastic young man who served previously on the Historic Preservation Commission. And we're so excited that he is going to continue to serve the city. Why am I carrying this around? All right, so next on the mayor's report is the appointment of Gurtaj Narang to the Planning Commission. Does council have any comments or questions regarding this appointment? Thank you very much. Do I have a motion to approve the appointment of Gurtaj Narang to the Planning Commission?
Motion to approve?
Motion made by Pro Tem and Councilmember Lee Hills. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilmember Lee Hills. All in favor? Second, Christine Hall, forgive me. Sorry.
It's that twin thing.
Yes, it is. All those in favor of the appointment of Gurtaj Narang to the Planning Commission, please do so by raising your hands. Let the record show that the vote is 6-0, unanimous. Congratulations to Gurtaj. Thank you. All right, Gurtaj, I'm going to ask you to come forward and read the oath of office. And if you would, please place your right hand, please place your right hand up and your left hand on the Bible. And repeat the oath of office after me, please, sir. Yes.
Yeah, right here.
Oath of office, State of Georgia, County of Fulton, City of Roswell. I, Gurtaj Narang,
I, Gurtaj Narang,
solemnly swear or affirm
solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the State of Georgia,
and of the State of Georgia,
and that I will in all respects
and I will in all respects
observe the provisions of the Charter
observe the provisions of the Charter
and ordinances of the City of Roswell,
and ordinances of the City of Roswell,
and I will well
and
truly perform
perform
the duties
the duties
of the office
of the office
of Roswell Planning Commission,
of Roswell Planning Commission,
and that I will, to the utmost of my skill
that I will, to the utmost of my skill
and ability,
and ability,
endeavor to promote the interest
endeavor to promote the interest
and property
and property
of said city
of said city
without fear,
without fear,
favor,
favor,
or affection.
or affection.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Picture. Sorry. two more items on the mayor's report. The first one is an audible, and it is to say goodbye to somebody in this room who we've seen for a while with us, and it's our Appen reporter from Appen Media, Sarah Cohn. This is her last night on duty, so Sarah, thank you for being with us, and we wish you much success in your future career. So everybody give a nice little round of applause for Sarah. And the last item on the mayor's report is the Roswell results update presented by Mayor Pro Tem Lee Hills.
All right, thank you, Mayor. So this evening, we are thrilled to announce the official launch of RoswellResults.com, a dynamic new website dedicated to showcasing the measurable progress that the city of Roswell has made in service to our community. RoswellResults.com is structured around 6 strategic pillars that represent the heart of our mission, turning bold goals into real, tangible outcomes that enhance the quality of life for every Roswell resident. These pillars include: 1, best-in-class safety, ensuring our fire, police, and emergency services are well-staffed, well-equipped, and nationally recognized. 2, service excellence, providing city services that are modern, dependable, and easy to access. 3, economic development, revitalizing key corridors, attracting new jobs, and shaping a sustainable, business-friendly future. 4, infrastructure investment, delivering high-impact projects that improve mobility, utility systems, and public spaces. 5, stewarding with integrity, managing taxpayer funds with transparency, discipline, and forward-thinking stewardship. 6, top place to work, investing in city staff, culture, leadership, and systems to build a high-performing workforce. Since January of 2022, these pillars have guided a series of remarkable accomplishments. And with RoswellResults.com, you can now explore these successes firsthand at any hour of the night or day, learn about key projects, and stay informed about how we are building a stronger, safer, and more connected Roswell. RoswellResults.com is more than just a website. It's our story of impact, accountability, and community progress. We invite you to explore it today and see real results for yourself. We'd also like to provide you with some recent updates on key projects that the city is currently delivering for our community. First, the City of Roswell has initiated the careful deconstruction of Doc's Cafe, a historic landmark central to the Groveway community. The goal is to preserve architecturally and culturally significant elements from the building. Specialists in architecture, cultural history, and historic documentation are using advanced tools such as 3D scanning, laser scanning, and CAD drawings to record and prioritize notable materials for potential future use. This initiative is designed to safeguard structural components during deconstruction and create detailed documentation to guide future design and interpretive efforts. A stakeholder committee, including local residents, historians, and city partners, will collaborate to shape the project's vision. The intent is to honor Doc's Cafe as a physical emblem of Black community heritage here in Roswell and ensure its legacy remains meaningful. Plans for a permanent site will be shared at a later stage. We'll be sure to keep you up to date on this important project. To learn more, check out this feature story on RoswellConnections.com. We're celebrating major strides in economic development too. Last week, PBS Aerospace officially opened the doors of its new North American headquarters right here in Roswell. As you may recall, last year, PBS Aerospace, a major manufacturer of world-class small turbojet engines based in the Czech Republic, selected Roswell as its U.S. base for manufacturing and research and development operations. This move is bringing a $20 million investment and 150 jobs to Roswell, as well as advancing the city's position as a hub for innovation and aerospace development. We're so honored that PBS Aerospace has chosen to invest here. Positioning Roswell at the forefront of emerging technology has been a cornerstone of our economic strategy. The arrival of PBS is proof that this vision is not just an aspiration, it is a reality. And finally, we're excited to invite our community and their four-legged friends to a big celebration tomorrow afternoon at 1:30 p.m. at East Roswell Park. We'll be hosting a ribbon-cutting ceremony to mark the completion of major improvements to the park, as well as the grand reopening of the East Roswell Dog Park. In addition to the exciting updates for the dog park, this celebration highlights new parking, improved trail connectivity, enhanced ADA accessibility, upgraded stormwater systems, and many other enhancements to the park that have been a community treasure for more than 30 years. These 2025 projects reflect a $2.5 million investment made possible by you, the Roswell taxpayers, through the bond program. Combined with an additional $2.3 million worth of projects completed in 2023 and 24, the city has invested $4.8 million in East Roswell Park over the past few years. We hope you can come join us tomorrow at the new dog park. Again, it's at 1:30 p.m., which is located directly behind the Arts Center at 9100 Fouts Road. The City of Roswell is driving bold projects that shape the future of our community. From preserving treasured landmarks and fueling economic growth to expanding our parks and recreation, we are bringing big ideas to life and delivering a stronger, brighter tomorrow right here in Roswell. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Pro Tem Lee Hills. Thank you.
Certainly.
That ends the mayor's report for tonight. We will now move on to the consent agenda. City Clerk Nancy Long, are there any Roswell residents who would like to speak on the consent agenda?
There are no public speakers for the consent agenda.
Thank you, Nancy. Does council have any questions or comments regarding the consent agenda? Thank you very much. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Motion made by Councilmember David Johnson. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilmember Alan Sells. All those in favor of passing the consent agenda this evening, please do so by raising your hand. Let the record show that the vote is 6-0 and the consent agenda passes unanimously. Thank you very much. We now move to the regular agenda. Item 1, City Clerk Nancy Long, would you please read the first item?
Yes, Mayor, this is approval of an ordinance to adopt a millage rate of 4.949 for tax year 2025. This will be the first reading presented by Chief Financial Officer Bill Godshall.
Thanks so much, Nancy. City Attorney David Davidson, would you read the ordinance, please, sir?
Thank you, Mayor. This is an ordinance to adopt a millage rate. Now, therefore, the mayor and council of the city of Roswell wish to establish a millage rate of 4.949. The millage rate has a component of 4.049 mills for the general fund, operating and capital improvements budget, and a component of 0.9 mills for servicing bonded indebtedness. And if approved, this would be the first reading.
Thank you, David. Thanks so much. Welcome, Bill. Glad to see you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As Mr. Johnson noted, this is the first reading of the millage ordinance, and I thought I would cover a couple of details regarding the proposed millage rate for 2025. Some of the highlights are that the property tax rate will not increase in 2025. This is consistent with the last 2 years, in 24 and 23. We will continue to maintain the lowest maintenance and operation rate in 17 years, and the funds from the maintenance and operation component will fund public safety, recreation and parks, and transportation. So approval of this rate would set the collection rate for our 2025 fiscal year ended this December 31. The total millage rate is composed of two components, the first being the maintenance and operations component, which I'll also just refer to as operations for shorthand, and then the debt service portion, which covers the repayment of the voter-approved general obligation bonds that were issued in tranches in 2023 and 2025. So just a recap of the millage rate, it is actually the property tax rate. They are one and the same. 1 mill is equal to $1 for every $1,000 of your property's assessed value. The assessed value of your property is 40% of your fair market value, and it's the basis to actually determine your city tax. So we have an example in the materials. If using our 4.949 combined millage rate, which is the 4.049 operations rate and the 0.9 debt fund rate, a Roswell homeowner who has a property with a fair market value of $550,000 would have an assessed value of $220,000. This is the 40% number. And they would pay about $1,088 in property taxes to the city. This amount is determined without exemptions, such as the floating homestead exemption or a couple of our other exemptions I'll discuss in the next slide. If you have these exemptions and filed properly, then you would pay less than the $1,088. And about $198 of that goes to the debt service fund for the bond program that I mentioned previously. So just a couple, sorry, pages are sticking. To cover the timeline, tonight is the first reading. We will have a special called public hearing, which will be the second hearing. It is September 15th at 6 p.m. State law requires that we have one meeting at least 7 days after the first meeting, and then that meeting starts at 6 p.m. So this complies with Georgia state law regarding millage ordinances. And then we will have the second reading and adoption of the millage rate at a regularly scheduled council meeting on September 22nd in 2 weeks. A little detail about our tax digest last year versus this year. Residential taxes for tax year 2024 were $6.8 billion. That was about 75.4% of the total digest value in 2024. In 2025, that amount went up at the residential level 1.4% to $6.95 billion, change of just roughly $100 million, and it now comprises 74.2% of the final 2025 digest. So it's been decreased by 1.2 percentage points from 24 to 25. The increase is in the commercial property and the other properties. Quick overview of the exemptions that we offer our citizens. We have the floating homestead exemption, which means that rather than being a fixed one-time exemption amount, it floats as a property value rises with a cap of 3%. So the measurement is what is the actual increase, and it's that. So if the actual increase is under 3%, that's the floating exemption. If the increase is over 3%, we cap the increase for assessment purposes at 3%. We also have two senior homestead exemptions. We have a flat $2,000 for anybody that's over 65, and then we have an AGI-tested $20,000 exemption for people who make less than $40,000. We also have a disabled veteran exemption program that complies with the federally disabled veteran exemption. Comparison numbers for you. First, we'll just look at the last 17 years or so. You will notice the blue stack chart is our operations rate, and it is the lowest in 17 years, and it has remained the same for the last 3 years under this mayor and council. We've also prepared a comparison with our fellow cities in North Fulton. We are the second lowest operations rate amongst the 6 cities of North Fulton. And again, we've maintained this rate consistently. But more importantly, as you expand the lens of comparison to our surrounding cities in the metro area, you will see that we are still the second lowest maintenance and operations rate in the area. So with that, to recap, our next step would be a special called meeting at 6 p.m. here in Chambers, Monday, September 15th. And then because of, and then our next meeting would be September 22nd, Tuesday, here in Chambers for the second reading of the ordinance. And with that, I'll be glad to take any questions.
Bill, thank you so much. City Clerk Nancy Long, are there any Roswell residents who would like to speak on this item? No public comment. Thank you, Nancy, so much. Council, do you have any comments or questions for Mr. Gottschall or on this matter? Councilmember David Johnson.
Just to clarify, I believe the 22nd is a Monday, not Tuesday. Tuesday's the 23rd. It's a regular council.
Yeah, so just.
We'll make sure that's corrected on the website.
Yeah,
we have one more advertisement going out. We'll fix it there as well.
Just did it for my own sanity.
That's right. So the first reading is actually tonight, Monday, the 8th. I think it says the 6th, just for clarity. And then there's a special called on the 15th at 6 o'clock, not 7. The special called next week on the 15th at 6 o'clock. And then the second hearing, the second reading will be actually Monday, September 22nd at 7 o'clock, the regularly scheduled mayor and city council time. Hopefully that's helpful. Yeah. Did anybody else have any thoughts, comments, or questions for Mr. Gottschall? Thank you. That was, Bill, very, very, very helpful. Any other thoughts from anybody? Very good. Being that there are none, I need a motion, please, to move this forward. Do I hear a motion?
Sorry, it's just one of those evenings. Motion to approve the approval of an ordinance to adopt a millage rate of 4.949 for tax year 2025, the first reading.
Thank you so much, Christine. Do I have a second to that motion? Seconded by Councilmember David Johnson. All those in favor of approving the motion, please do so by raising your hands. Let the record show that the vote is 6-0 and unanimous on the approval of the first reading. Thank you very much, and thank you, Bill. City Clerk Nancy Long, would you please read the second item on the regular agenda?
Microphones.
We like you when you come out to see us.
This is approval of a resolution for issuance of Downtown Development Authority DDA revenue bonds and intergovernmental contract between the City of Roswell and the DDA to finance the Hill Street parking deck. This is presented by Assistant City Attorney Joseph Cusack.
Thank you, Nancy. Welcome, Joe.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I bring forth the resolution to approve the issuance of Downtown Development Authority revenue bonds in an amount not to exceed $25 million, and the subsequent intergovernmental contract between you as the governing body of the City of Roswell and the Downtown Development Authority to finance the Hill Street mixed-use development parking project. On September 2nd, which was last Tuesday, the DDA approved a resolution in this IGA to issue revenue bonds in an amount not to exceed $25 million for this development project that is going on to my left here on Hill Street. This funds the parking deck and the adjacent parking infrastructure that is going in around the deck, along with some detention and other work that needs to be done for the parking for the actual development itself. This project services the overall development and the mixed-use multifamily portion of the development, the office space for the development, and the commercial portion of the development. It's where everyone's going to park. And these are revenue bonds that are being issued by the DDA. The revenue is going to come from four places that is ultimately going to back up or backstop what is being issued in these $25 million. Basically, the $25 million will be paid by this revenue, and I'll get into the difference between a revenue and a general obligation bond. But it is a sort of, if you build it, will they come? Well, if you build this deck, it's actually going to be, there's going to be revenue built into this because 143 spaces in year one with a max up to 220 of what is ultimately a 356 space parking deck. Those 143 spaces are going to be generating revenue right away. In year two, it's going to go up to 175 spaces, in which all of this is for the mixed-use multifamily portion of the development, in which the developer is going to be obligated to buy those 175 spaces, creating revenue. In year three, that number will go up to 200. In year four, that number will cap out at 220, which will be the maximum amount that they have to buy. So there is built-in revenue to this deck and to this debt service. So ultimately, over half of these spots that are in this deck are going to have revenue built into them to pay down these bonds. The other portion of this debt is also going to be contemplated as part of office parking as well. The developer, which is Atlantic Companies, is going to be obligated to buy a certain amount of spaces for the office. And then also the ground lease revenue that will be generated by this deal will also pay down portions of this debt as well. There is a fourth component of this, which I didn't mention, which is the rest of the spaces that will be available to the general public. And those spaces will be paid parking with the dynamic pricing model that has been adopted by you as council. And that will also service the debt as well. So there's going to be four different areas where debt service for this $25 million in bonds that is being issued by the DDA will come from. To further go into why this is in front of you all tonight, the DDA, as part of the Development Authorities law, has the ability to offer these bonds, but they have no collateral to back this up. The DDA, through the Development Authorities law and through the other development authorities around the state, they don't really have any assets for which a bank would find them to be a good bet to ultimately issue debt. So that is why through the Development Authorities law, the city can pledge up to 3 mills. Counties can pledge up to 1 because they're normally bigger entities, but cities can pledge up to 3 mills of their taxing power to ultimately backstop or collateralize what would be issued as these bonds. And we just saw what a mill is worth. It's going to be approximately $7 million approximately. So the city can pledge up to $21 million to finance these bonds and get a lower rate for these bonds. So that ultimately this is a profitable venture for the city, it's a profitable venture for the development itself, and then it's a profitable venture for the citizens that get to utilize this. So that is why the DDA is able to do this. That is why the city is being asked to advance this resolution and enter into this IGA tonight, and how the Development Authorities law interplays with all of this. I thought it might be useful to talk about a general obligation bond because I think that's what a lot of our citizens are used to, and the difference between that and revenue bonds and why revenue bonds can be utilized here, but a general obligation bond wouldn't be able to be utilized. As all of you know, the city had a referendum on general obligation bonds around 3 years ago, I believe, in which there were parks financing, there was police pay or a new police facility, and a parking deck. All of these things have benefit to the public. So that's why they were able to go on a ballot. They were able to go on a ballot because all of them benefit the public in some way, like the parking deck that is going on Green Street is, although Roswell residents aren't going to be paid, it is open to everyone. There is no private portion of that is going to be bestowed on a private developer. So that could go out for a bond referendum for which the citizens could ultimately utilize the parking deck. Because this is not a solely public project, and we're using the Development Authorities law here, that's why this is a revenue bond, and ultimately the bond is backed differently because it's backed by the city pledging mills. So because there's a private aspect to this, in which a development is getting the use of the multifamily will be parking there, and they have nested parking in which they're contractually obligated to buy. A general obligation bond wouldn't have fit here. It would have been actually illegal to do that. So that's why you utilize the Development Authorities law to do this revenue bond and to pledge the mills behind this revenue bond for the revenue. So I'm happy to answer any other questions, but the DDA has authorized entering into this IGA and this resolution, and the next step would be for the city to authorize this resolution and enter into this intergovernmental contract. From there, we'll go to the issuance of the bonds, the verification process, which will take place in Superior Court. But I'm happy to answer any questions anyone may have.
Joe, thank you. That was an excellent presentation of a very detailed and complex subject, which I'm sure will come up. You'll have to explain it many, many times over again, but you did a great job. City Clerk Nancy Long, are there any Roswell residents who would like to speak on this item?
There's no public comment.
Thank you, Nancy. I'm sure council would probably like to address it. I'm going to start with Alan. I know Councilmember Alan Sells does.
Thank you, Mayor. Joe, I just want to clarify or just tease out a couple of things. You used the term that the developer was going to buy these spaces. I'd like to talk about that just for a second. I believe what you mean that they're going to pay an annual fee for these. This is not a one-time purchase of those parking spaces. They are actually going to be paying for the parking spaces for as long as those units are, either the commercial or the residential are using that. Is that correct?
That's correct. It will create annual revenue every year.
Right, okay, and likewise, the businesses as well, those will be fixed. And in the project, specifically, when you talk about the fact that the city is pledging millage, I want to just explore that a little bit, because it sounds like that's pledging tax dollars, and that's not at all what it means. So I want to clarify that a bit. Would you, basically that's borrowing capacity. Could you talk a little bit about that? Maybe Bill may need to help, or we can go from there. But can you talk a little bit about what that actually means, and that it is not actually tax dollars going to pay for these bonds?
That's correct. So the first backstop, I guess, would be the revenue here. The revenue is ultimately going to service or provide the revenue for the debt.
That's why it's called a revenue bond,
That's exactly why it's called a revenue
because the
bond.
revenue is the first backstop.
It's a dead giveaway.
It is, but it does need to be explained. I mean, seriously.
I know.
Go ahead, sorry, Jim.
Yes. So from there, as I talked about with the DDA being an assetless organization, the city coming behind with this $3 million pledge, which is the maximum allowable by state law, which I've seen a lot of these projects throughout the state. For any city, it's a $3 million pledge that goes into this. That allows the DDA to get the lowest rate on their bond. And so that means there's less debt service. That means it's a good deal and an attractive deal to drive economic development. That is ultimately what this project is supposed to do, is an economic development driver. So it allows them to get this low rate and attract redevelopment for an area that's in dire need for it. And so that's why it's a $3 million pledge, and we're not actually pledging, or the city is not actually pledging taxes.
Right. So say that just a little bit differently. You're saying that the city is using its worth, its value, to incentivize the development where we want the development. That's the essence of what we're doing here.
Correct.
Right? So it's not a tax. It's not a burden on the citizens. The project carries, but in order to entice and make the project work for all parties, this is a way for us to reduce the cost.
Correct.
Last thing I'd like to explore just a little bit is, once again, so we're using the DDA, which is a constitutional body under the Georgia law, right?
Correct, yes.
And working in concert with them in a way that hasn't been done in the past, using these scopes of work. Specifically, we're negotiating, and the IGA is under a scope of work, correct?
Correct.
And let's just, once again, talk about what that means and how that's different as a governance matter than simply turning the project over to the IGA, to the DDA. Would you talk just a little bit about that?
Yeah, so there's different, as you talked about, there's different scopes of works with the DDA. Starting with the Hill Street scope of work, it's had multiple iterations of different deliverables that have needed to be met throughout this process. We started with an LOI. We've now to this point where we had the land exchange agreement, which is the next item I'll be bringing. But from the land exchange agreement, now we have all these different milestones. All of these are contained in these scopes of work, so we're hitting all these check marks on the way to actually getting getting shovels in the ground and getting the project going. So we start from that LOI, we move to the land exchange agreement. Next, we're moving towards an October 15th date where we're going to be bringing a lot of documents in front of you for approval. But using that scope of work models, we've been able to stay on time, stay organized, and everybody knows which way we're pulling, what we're doing, what the different definitions of each person's jobs are. So that's what we've utilized these scopes of work for, is to make sure we're moving in an efficient and judicious manner.
Right. So instead of having dissension among us and the organizations that try to do these things, we're actually coordinating the effort and saying this is where we're going, and everybody agrees on that, and we do it together. What a concept.
Correct.
Well, to your point, clarity, discipline, transparency, accountability. Clarity, discipline, transparency, accountability.
Absolutely.
Clarity, discipline, transparency, accountability. Statement of works allow you to do that if you use them correctly. And one of the things, great example, DDA is a state chartered organization, has a charter. Cities use development authorities, right, to help. It's a tool and an asset to help foster economic development. It is not an economic development organization. It's a tool and an asset with specific abilities to do certain things, like, for example, create a revenue bond. The city can. So that's a tool, right? Has to have discipline around it. Like, you can't say to an organization that it's a development authority, you're an EDO. In other words, you are responsible for economic development. That's silly, it's undisciplined, and it's chaos. No matter how smart the people on there, the organization, it's not about the people on there. It's the mission that you give that has to be very specific, very disciplined, very focused, so that you can have clarity about what's going to be achieved and what's not going to be achieved. There's discipline inside of that. It doesn't get outside of those parameters. It continues to give clarity to all involved, all parties, internal and external parties. And there's transparency to each and every step of the process. It's very important.
One thing I'd add is it also ensures that the project stays on the right course.
Yes.
So we, as this group knows, we met with the developer tonight, and they could not have been more complimentary of where this project started 5 years ago.
3 years ago.
Well, 5 years ago,
Five years ago.
it was a piece of ground, an acre big, that
But
they
we
were going to
walked
put
in
100.
January of 2022, it was 96 apartments, standalone apartments.
Right, exactly. And the way that has moved forward, and together with them, it's now, they say this is a great project, and it's, what was the term he used? A community of buildings.
And he
It's
said-
not just a building that's got some different pieces in it. It's a community of buildings. So all of these buildings working in concert is creating a destination and a community on a 6.5 acre, essentially, piece of ground that was a few
And Alan,
falling
how
down buildings.
cool this elected body and senior leadership team, thank you, Mr. Knighton, senior leadership team, stayed resolute about what the outcome was. So rather than capitulating and getting a win on an economic development project, right, which could have happened 2 years ago, could have had an economic win, quote unquote, 2 years ago, this elected body and senior leadership team stayed focused on what's the best long-term project. And as the developer will admit, much to their chagrin, after an additional 24 months of negotiation, they came out with a better project.
That's exactly what they said. That's exactly what they told us. And they're very proud of this project, and they're already talking about the knock-on effects in other places close by that they would like to consider doing more work. So, Joe, thank you.
Well,
I'll yield back.
that's a brilliant illustration about that point. So this building, A through G, there's 6 separate buildings on this project, which are the intended design of creating community, which is different than you see in a lot of projects like this. A lot of good work by a lot of good people. Joe, yeah. By the way, excellent analysis and description, Joe, and thank you for being with us. David, we're glad you brought Joe on board. Me too. It's been a big help to the city. All right, Alan, anybody else want to weigh in? Will? Sorry, Christine.
No, joking about
But
Will.
Christine's going to kill me.
Will's never chatty.
So this is one of the key pieces of our 4 quadrants that we've always emphasized: the downtown, the midtown, the uptown, and the east side of the economic zones that we're trying to really put emphasis around. This project as a whole is a fantastic project. This is one of the pieces of that project. Lots of good work, lots of vision has gone into this, and as we've already discussed, the 3 years plus of really just week after week after week hammering on this to get the best result for the Roswell residents and this downtown area. And we've already touched on it. It's the ripple effect. It's the ripple effect of putting this vision right here. It's the ripple effect of where we place the downtown parking garage. This is the progress that's coming from those decisions. So very excited to see this come forward.
Thanks, Will. Thank you. David? Well, 5 years from now, people are going to be like, this project is so amazing. They're going to be so happy. And you guys did a good job. But we still got a ways to go. Joe, thank you. All right. Does anybody have a motion? Do I hear a motion?
Yes.
It's, yeah, the approval of resolution for issuance of a downtown.
Okay,
development
gotcha.
authority. Yeah.
Thank you, David. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution for the issuance of the Downtown Development Authority revenue bonds and intergovernmental contract between the City of Roswell and the Downtown Development Authority to finance the Hill Street parking deck.
Thank you so much, Alan. Is there a second to Mr. Sells' motion? Seconded by Councilmember David Johnson. All those in approval of the resolution as stated by Councilmember Alan Sells, please do so by raising your hands. Let the record show that the vote is 6-0 and unanimous. Thank you very much and congratulations. Item number 3. Nancy, City Clerk Nancy Long, would you please read the last item on the regular agenda?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This is a resolution authorizing the mayor or city administrator with the city attorney's office to close on the Hill Street Land Exchange Agreement, also presented by Assistant City Attorney Joe Cusack.
Thanks, Nancy, so much. Welcome back, Joe.
I will keep this one short. This is just very quick. As part of the agreement of which I was talking about, the land exchange agreement was executed by this body on April 12th of 2025. This is allowing the city attorney's office, along with either the mayor or city administrator, to authorize closing. With authorization tonight, we will start getting closing documents together, everything we need to close on the transaction, so that when October 15th comes around, we are ready to close this out and start going and getting shovels in the ground.
Joe, that's it?
That's it.
Well done. Thank you. City Clerk Nancy Long, are there any Roswell residents who'd like to speak on this item?
There are no public speakers for this item.
Thank you, Nancy, so much. Does council have any comments or questions? Christine, I know you do.
Christine's just dying to get to this game.
I know.
We should talk just briefly about the fact that also, once again, these statements of work have made this, because this is one of the most complicated business transactions this cowboy has ever been a part of. And I've done a lot, as you know. And getting all of those pieces to move together in a government setting is quite different than anything in my experience in terms of the complications. It adds a level of complication that, as a business person, you don't always plan for. So just want to compliment you and David and the team at Greenberg Traurig that did this work. It was complicated, and congratulations on pulling this off. This transaction is very, very well done, and I'm very excited about it. Thank you.
Thanks, Alan. Christine, yes, ma'am. Councilmember Christine Hall.
Thank you, Alan, for talking about how challenging and how difficult and really how complex but yet simple this is. And the simple part of it is that when Mayor Wilson came in, along with Lee, Will, Sarah, I think you were here, and David and Alan. I mean, this was a horrible, horrible project. I mean, it was a horrible thing that we were saddled with, and what under your leadership, you just wouldn't accept it. You just had to find a way to make it better, and that's what's been going on for the last 3 years, and just kudos to everybody, to the team, to the staff, to the developer for hanging in there with us, to our attorneys. I want the public to really know that this could have been something that was really not that great, and it is a great project now.
Christine, I got to give one other person credit. So we did a lot of work, and we got. Just I'll give you a quick backfill. We got to an agreement in October of 23, and yours truly pulled the plug, right? For a lot of reasons, okay? And we had to go back to ground zero, and there was lots of difficult issues. And Peter Surkoff came in, and really the person who came in and delivered a dramatically different project, a dramatically different vision, who was able to move them and us to a different place to get to found the solution. Peter found the solution. And it doesn't show up. It doesn't show up in a statement of work. It doesn't show up in a contract. It doesn't show up in an ROI. But the truth of the matter is, because our job is to make the city better. And I think we all believe that this development is going to make the city better. It's just one piece. And this is very simple. Resolution authorizing the mayor and city administrator with city office to close on the Hill Street, Atlantic Street. But it's so simple. There's so much behind this, it's ridiculous. And that's what the public, our residents, our fellow residents, trust us to do. Hey, we trust you to go do our work. That's what we're doing. And if you knew the same things we knew, what would you want us to do? Way too complex, way too extenuating to explain all the details, but to trust at the end of the day you're doing the right thing by us. And that's what this team did. But we would be remiss if we didn't say we wouldn't have got this project the way we got this project without Peter Surkoff. Period. In the story.
Absolutely.
And there are a lot of people that have done a really good job. So anyway, thank you. Joe, David, hang in there. You got to close on October 15th. Right? All right, so any other comments? All right, you held yourself up there, just to let you know. Okay, all right. All right, is there a motion? Do I hear a motion? Do we hear a motion? No, we need a new motion, yes, sorry.
All right, I'll do it. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the mayor or the city administrator with the city attorney's office to close on the Hill Street Land Exchange Agreement.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember David Johnson. All in favor of approving the resolution as stated by Councilmember Alan Sells, please do so by raising your hands. Let the record show that the vote is 6-0 and unanimous, and the resolution passes. Congratulations to the city. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Yeah, right?
it is a big deal.
It is a big deal. All right, last on the agenda is the city attorney's report. Chief Legal Officer and City Attorney David Davidson, please read the last item on the city attorney's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have one item to go into closure for. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have anything to go into closure for.
No closure? Thank you. Wait, we got one more. Do I have a quote? Is there something I need to say? Oh, okay. All right. Being that there are no other items, this mayor and council meeting of Monday, September 8th, 2025 is adjourned. Thank you for being with us. Good night and God bless. And Sarah's retiring.
She's way too young to.